So now I'm sitting here saying I should have really worked on building my team,
Okay.
and before I kind of said I'm a listing agent. But
Okay.
then if I don't jump out there, I'll never do it. So it's like I'm kind of in that,
Okay.
not even with that book, try not to have a fixed and just pile through it. That's what I'm trying to do.
So where does that feeling of overwhelm come from? Sounds like it's not that you're a listing agent. Where is that coming from?
I think it's from not being enough or not feeling like, see, I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
Um, the people pleasing
Okay.
that, and sometimes you tend to like overexert yourself because I deal with trying to be perfect. Like I gotta get it, just gotta get it right. And you want to make everybody happy, and you're trying to come to a happy medium we can all deal with. And um, so I deal with perfectionism. It's got to be
Okay.
perfect, and everything's not going to be check off the boxes all the time, and you got to
Okay.
push through. And sometimes just the pushing through just gets difficult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you feel overwhelmed, you're thinking, I've got to get it right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is this happening? So in this specific instance, what is it that you feel like you have to get right? What is our circumstance that you're in?
That you just want to, because I feel like whenever and this is not just, and I know we're dealing with this listing, but just um, you took on something to do a job for somebody, and you just feel like I got to get it right, and I'm trying to do the best that I can to make it right.
Okay.
And it's like sometimes I feel like I do most of the bending and the twisting and the
Mm-hmm.
turning because I want to get it right.
Okay. So you have a listing. Is that what's putting the pressure
Hmm.
on you? Like, is this the kind of what you're sitting in right now? Is this specific situation with your listing?
Um, that well, just life, just because I've been noticing. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
That just when something hits, it's just the sense of it's too much, just
Okay.
but I'm not going to blame it all on the listing.
Okay. But in this situation, like you're feeling this overwhelm in this situation of the listing.
Yes.
Okay. So you have a listing. That's what you have right now, right? You have a listing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the listing agent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're the listing agent and you're thinking, I have to get it right.
Yes.
And that's causing overwhelm.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's got to be perfect.
It's got to be perfect. Okay. It's got to be perfect.
Yes.
Which ones feels like, I've got to get it right or it's got to be perfect?
More of perfect.
Perfect. So I've got to get it perfect. It's got to be perfect. Okay. And that's causing you to feel overwhelmed.
Yes.
And when you feel overwhelmed, how are you behaving? What are you doing?
Nah, you just hate to admit that, but you start with the negative,
Okay.
and then it's like I'm just gonna quit. Just
Okay.
'cause this is just
So that's another thought. I'm just going to quit.
yeah.
What are the actions that you're taking when you feel overwhelmed?
Um, like now, I'm learning how to just stop and just breathe a minute and just pray and try to get back grounded to figure out a way to plow through And I always say plow through because it just feels like I'm trying to plow through this thick debris,
Mhm.
you know. It's like a cornfield almost, like you're trying to just push stuff out so you can get through. And that's what it feels like, is I'm just like just pushing through.
Okay. So when you feel overwhelmed, you're pushing through.
But it's always starts with negative self-talk. I can say that. It
Okay.
always starts, I should just quit.
So you become doubtful.
Yes. Definitely not confident
Okay.
in myself.
Okay. So when you're pushing through, you're not necessarily pushing through with confidence.
Yes.
Okay. So when you push through in a doubtful way, I mean, actions, you're still taking the actions, you're still working your business, right? You're not quitting,
Correct.
but it's a little more painful.
Yes.
You're thinking it's more painful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're pushing through, but you're doubtful while you're doing it.
Yes.
Okay. So when you have all those doubts and you're thinking that you have to get it right, it's causing your overwhelm, which I don't know that that's really the action you're taking. So when you're overwhelmed, I mean, I guess an action could be pushing through, but you're also stopping and taking a break, right? And
But
feeling
then,
you're getting a little
yes.
anxious.
Yes. Yeah. That's the word. That's a good word.
Anxious. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Okay. So you're getting anxious. Okay. And when you get anxious and you're thinking that it's too much, right? You are creating and looking for all the ways that this is overwhelming.
Yes.
You're,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So that's the result that you're creating for yourself, is you're looking to find evidence that, okay, this is all the reasons why it's overwhelming.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what's creating that result for you?
What do you mean was creating?
So this overwhelm that you're feeling,
Mhm.
is it coming from the listing?
Probably not.
So where would it be coming from?
Probably I just say life. And just like I'm learning this over like within the last couple years, that like there was some trauma in some relationships.
Oh, it says it's connecting to the audio. There we go.
Gee, see, it's my day. It's my day
It's
today.
wait.
Is that AC like too much? Cause
Nope, I can't
like
hear
I
it.
was, okay,
No,
good.
I can't hear it. You're good.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
like
hear it.
your phone went hot. You can't use it. Let it cool down. But I didn't have that part on. I just had the windows down.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, mine does that too.
but yeah.
Okay.
So back to my question. My answer is I was gonna say like I noticed, especially because I was in the book and for the women, kind of like inspirational or anthology that I was a part of, and I wrote chapter in the book, and like even writing that chapter, I noticed there was a lot of, and I'm just using trauma just for the lack of a better word,
Okay.
just trauma, unhealed trauma that I really haven't dealt with, and that relationship, and just you know sometimes the easiest thing to do is just forget it. I'm just walking away.
Mm-hmm.
And even though sometimes that is appropriate, but like you can't do life like always running.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna stop. It's not gonna deal with it, and it'll eventually go away.
Okay. And
That's me.
and you're finding that's maybe infusing. Are you kind of tying that to your everything has to be perfect or you have to get it perfect?
Yes, yes, yes.
Otherwise, just don't
Because
even try.
yes, because oh my God, yes.
Okay.
You just said that, and I was like, oh my God, yes. Because in that season of my life, you know, and it's sad because that was 12, 13, 14 years ago, I believe. But it was like I could never, um, may he rest in peace, but it's like I could never do anything right in the marriage, and I was talked down to a lot, and just you got these two young people trying to be married, and it just was
Mm-hmm.
not a good situation for me. Like seeing that now, but just dealing with a lot of backlash from that. It was always, his first response to me was always, "Well, let's just get a divorce. I don't want to be married to you. You can't do this right." Um, I just couldn't do anything right. So I always felt the need to, I got to get it right, So
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So that thought, I've got to get it right. So that does sound like definitely the one that we want to work on. Can you see that so even if it's a listing in this specific situation, we're talking about a listing, but you can kind of input anything there, right?
Yeah.
And the thought that I have to get it right. And when you think that thought, that's creating the feeling of overwhelm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So the listing is not creating the overwhelm. The thought, I have to get it right. I have to do it perfect. That's what's creating your feeling of overwhelm. Yeah. Okay. So what would be so that doesn't feel good. We know that doesn't feel good, right? That's why you're here and that's why you're crying, because it doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel good. Okay. So that thought, I've got to get it perfect. You can throw that sucker out the window. That is a choice to think that. That's not something you have to think. Okay. So when you get in a situation like with this listing and you have all these things that are going on, you have all the different people to deal with and the emotions of the seller and right. And it gets complicated.
Yes.
Okay. What other things could you choose to think about the situation?
That I I can like say I've been working on it, but I woke up this morning and I said there are not problems, there are solutions. There are solutions to every problem.
Okay.
So there's always a way around it,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to. It may not be perfect, but there is a solution, and that there's an answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we want the answer to be 1 plus 1 equals 2, and it does equal 2, but it might be 1.5 plus 0.5
Mm-hmm.
that gets, so it's just, I can't like be so, and I'm just gonna say like cookie cutter, like it's gotta go this way, and I gotta be able to check off the box. And so in order for it to be perfect, and it doesn't have to.
What is perfect? What does that mean to you? What is in this in your head? You're saying I have to get it perfect. What is that?
And it's always what somebody else feels like is perfect. And for me, I know I always put myself on the back And perfect is always somebody else's definition of perfect and not my definition of perfect. And I see perfect as somebody that's striving for perfect to me is somebody that's striving to be the best version of themselves. So I might have a good day today, and today, but I'm learning to try to not speak so negative to myself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What is perfect exact like exist?
No, no one is perfect but God the Father, the
Right.
Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's the only perfect deity to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you let me teach you a
Told
little
y'all I was
bit.
gonna cry.
What'd you say?
I thought I told y'all I was gonna cry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, we take it all. It's all good. Okay. So in striving for perfection, we are trying to, you're trying to control the circumstances, but the circumstances are completely neutral. Okay. So the circumstances, so all of these things within a transaction are circumstances. The seller's emotions, that's just a circumstance, that's theirs, right? The repairs that have to be done, those are just circumstances. Those aren't things that you can change. Okay. When we put together what we'll call like a manual, it's kind of two different things, but when it comes to like the emotions, because this is really goes back and ties to you being told that you're not doing it right, is what it sounds like, right? And that's carrying over into your business. The pain from the before marriage. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So this before person that you're married to, this before person, I don't know that that's a sentence, but we're going to call it a sentence. That person that you're married to, they had what's called a manual. They had this idea and list of rules and thoughts that they said, okay, here's what I want. This is what makes me happy. This is how I want other people to behave. And he would hand you that manual and say, here, you do all these things, and that's what makes me happy. This is how I want you to behave. Right? They're instructions for others in an attempt to control circumstances. Now, you're giving yourself those same instructions in your business. To control, you're attempting again, this is the way it should be. Here's the manual, right? It shouldn't be different than this. It should be perfect. Here's what perfect looks like. Here's the manual. Follow the manual, dang it. And if you don't, it's wrong. Okay. Manuals are just each individual person's logical, reasonable requests that they would like to make themselves happy. They're conditions. We don't get to give each other manuals. Like he didn't get to give you a manual, but you also are creating a manual for yourself and your business. How does that sit with you?
I am digesting that because I noticed and even with trying to date now, you have a friend, and I literally had to apologize to him because he did something nice and I thought he was trying to get over it, because it's like anytime he did something nice, it was because he messed up, and so I understand when you say this was the manual that I had to go by,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to operate with that manual, and I don't have a right to give someone else a manual, just like they don't have a right to give me a manual, and that I need to operate. It's like I'm not a robot that comes with a set of instructions. It's like,
Mhm.
you get something and you put it together and you follow the manual, but we're not gadgets. We are actually human beings with feelings. And so, yeah, that really helps a lot, because, like, when you say that, it makes, I just like see myself, and I'm still trying to operate by the manual that was given to me.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You take that manual and you just give it back.
yeah,
And then you get to decide how you want to feel, which
yeah,
you're trying to tell yourself.
yeah,
You are trying to push through that, and you're trying to tell yourself, okay, yep, there's all these things, right? We got the electrician, and we got the emotions of the seller, and we got this other agent that's not very good, or whatever, all those circumstances that are happening. And you are pulling over in your car, and you're taking a minute, and you're telling yourself, okay, I can push through this, right? That was the action that you had given me. You can push through it. You can, and you're telling yourself you can, but some sort of resistance in there is telling you that you have to feel overwhelmed, or that there's something
yeah.
wrong,
And then,
that
yeah,
you're not doing
it's
it right.
like, yeah, it's like you always resort back to where your comfort, then that's your, no matter how crazy that sounds, but comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's like I've really been learning, like, that's why sometimes it's so hard for, and I'm just saying women because I'm a woman, for a
Mm-hmm.
woman to leave something that was abusive, or, just thank God mine wasn't physical abuse, but it was still some type of verbal and mental. And, like, that's because you was in it so long, you comfortable there. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times it's just easier to resort back to, like, beating yourself up
Mm-hmm.
instead of positive self talk. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can say, just personally, I've been really working hard on being positive to myself, because I noticed that, um, and I don't know, it's just the group has been amazing, because, and I always say, because you make us look at things outside of real estate, but then how things that you do, your mindset, and those things will affect your
Mm-hmm.
business. So it's like you make us think outside the contract. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's
think,
not all
think,
about
think
it's
outside.
not all about the contract.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, to make the
so
progress that we want to make in our business.
yes.
So how are you feeling right now?
Um, like I feel better, but then it's also, I got some things I still need to work on, because that manual piece was huge. That was a huge stake to me. So,
The overwhelm. So when I asked you what's creating your overwhelm, it's just the way that you're thinking about it. It's your thoughts. It's your thought that I've got to get it perfect.
Yes.
Oh, there's a bird right outside my window. Okay. It's like hovering. So when you tell yourself, I've got to get it perfect in an attempt to control the circumstances or control what's going on, that is it controlling the circumstances, or how is it controlling the circumstances? Bird.
It's me trying to control the. I think it's me trying to control everything, and a lot of this is not in my control. Like
Yeah.
I don't know plumbing. I don't know electrical. So it's like trying to take on other issues that's really not your issue.
Mm. And it's a thought too that's pretending to be useful, but it's not actually useful because all it's doing is creating your overwhelm.
Yes.
And once
Yeah.
you can recognize that, it sounds like that's kind of landing.
Yeah.
So what's something that you could replace that with? What would be a better feeling thought?
I don't know, because my question is, like, to myself, is that, like, and I know we're just using this as an example, but that's not my area. But it's like I feel so attached to this contract that I feel like I gotta take all this on. And it's like, so I guess, how do I release myself from that's not me. Like, that's
Right.
not, I can get all the information, I can do all that, but that's not me. And I feel like sometimes, like, you're the agent, you be like, oh, this is my house, and I got to make sure that this goes perfect. And so I guess I don't know how to release myself from what's really not my responsibility.
Mm-hmm. So you just came back to the perfect word again.
Yeah, I
What?
realized that after
Yeah. What if the hot mess of the way that it goes is the perfect way?
Yeah.
What if that is the way? What if stumbling through the transaction, having to call 50 different people, what if that is the perfect way? I mean, what are you telling yourself the perfect way is? And in what world does that exist either?
Yeah.
You're predetermining what perfect means.
Yeah. And I'm still like, it's like I see check boxes, and I gotta get rid of you know.
Yeah. And check boxes can be useful if it's like, okay, we have an electrical problem. Let's call an electrician. We have a plumbing problem. Let's call a plumber. There are steps that we learn in our business that help us wade through the transaction and ways to figure out how to fix whatever the problem that just arised, is.
Right.
But wherein lies the perfection piece?
Yeah. I have really got to find another word for perfect, or a new definition.
What if you're just getting it done? Who do I need to call to get it done?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, right? It does need to get done. so you can sell the house.
Yes.
So how do you get it done?
Make the phone calls and they send me the quote.
Yeah.
And then I will rework from that. And
And those are actual steps you can take. But finding a perfect process is an idea. It's not a,
wow. I need to just get rid of the whole word perfect.
yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You know, it's not a thing.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, yeah. I'm really just digesting all of it. Sometimes you just need somebody to ask you hard questions. The question you never thought about. I didn't think about the manual. I didn't think about perfect. What is the definition of perfect? So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm having a moment here.
Good. Yeah, when we're trying to tell ourselves these things to be perfect, right? Or the way that we think that things should be, it's just our mind trying to help, thinking that this is a helpful thought. But if you stop and go, what is this? How is this making me feel? And if it's bringing up a feeling of overwhelm, well, how useful is that?
Yeah,
It's not useful. It's not getting you the results that you want or making you feel good.
yeah,
You're not enjoying it.
yeah. I got it. Woo! Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how do you feel now?
I'm breathing.
Yeah.
I am really digesting that this part of our meeting today. So, yeah, so I just sometimes you don't realize something said out loud,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
nobody's ever asked me whether it's perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And someone else's, and tying that back to, like we said, with the manual, someone else's ideas of what perfect is not our idea, right? We don't have to adopt their manual or their ideas. Those are theirs to have.
and I always seem to take on the other ideas, and I'm like hard to make yourself stop to say, well, what works for you? What do you need? And I never, you sometimes you never get to tell somebody else what you need because they said it first or they showed you first, and then it's like you spend more time trying to meet their list or their qualifications,
Mm-hmm.
and then you didn't even really look at your box and say, okay, is this even gonna work for you?
Mm-hmm.
And I just told somebody that yesterday, and I was talking about an inspection report, and I said that's what the inspection report is for. Is for you to determine if you could deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I never asked myself, can you deal with this? Can you deal with what their manual is, and not, So I gotta really rework some things in my head.
Good. Good.
Yeah, that's Yeah, that helped a lot. See, I'm glad I didn't cancel.
I'm glad you didn't cancel too.
I was overwhelmed, and I said I can't talk to you because I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I needed it. I needed to talk to you.
Yeah. Good. And remember what causes the overwhelm? Just your thoughts. Just your thoughts. That's it. You have all the power in the world to feel the way that you want to feel. You are only being held captive by the things that you think, the way that you think of.
Yes. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
In your ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So really ain't the contract.
And it sounds like you have all the steps. You got it sitting in your car. You know all the steps to make it through, to get it done. That's your goal.
Yeah.
Just get it done. As messy as you want it to be, you just do it your own way. You just get it done. Yep. No wrong way. You're going to take a different way that I'm going to take, which would, a different agent's going to take a different path too. We're all going to get to the same destination. We're just getting it done.
Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you didn't cancel on me today. I would have been so sad.
And I would have still been sad.
Right. Now you found freedom.
Oh, I got to get this thing together right here.
Good.
My mind.
Good.
But thank you.
Come back to me anytime.
Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And congratulations on your listing and a couple more listings. That's exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's going to get better.
Yeah. It is better. It is better.
It is better. See?
Yeah.
See? It is better.
Yeah.
It is better. Yeah. But thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right.
You have a good rest of your day.